Hi guys, welcome to the Handspin Review Spot YouTube channel, and let's just take a second to look at how pretty that looks. Look at that. You can click on the link in the description below to go to our Facebook page, and we've also got an Instagram account, and most importantly, if you like what we're doing here, please hit that subscription button. It really helps us out and helps us keep going with what we're doing here. Hey dear, I'll get some words out. Maybe it's just how pretty this looks that's throwing me off. Okay, so what do we have here today? We have the second coming, if you like, although I think it's probably the third coming in terms of the fact there has been another one as well in between the ring spinner. But this is the second coming hand spinner, if you like, from Damn Designs, Adrian D'Souza. So, what is this? This is the Turbulence. As I say, it's from Damn Designs. This one's in polished stainless steel, and okay, you can turn the review off now because I'm just going to tell you right now, I love this. There you go. Right, for those of you that are still here, let's move on with some size comparisons. So, let's put the Triad, also from Adrian at Damn Designs, next to it. This has been, for me, the pinnacle of Chinese manufactured spinners so far. I love the Triad. There's a review. If you head back in the videos on the channel, you'll find it. Equally, if I remember / can be bothered, I shall put a link to it in the description below. No apologies if I don't. Sometimes I forget these things. It's busy, you know. It's busy. Right, this is the rotor blade tri-stubby. As you can see in Silly Superconductor, you have the Tri-Crusader from Casfly. So that's some tries. We'll put my pinnacle of all tri-spinners at the moment, the Tri-Cocoon in there from Pos Blades. This is looking messy. So there you go, and then we'll stick, because I'm getting sick of doing this, there we go, that's a normal stubby as well. So there you go, there's some size comparisons. And oh, I've forgotten one, very important. There it is next to a Commonwealth Garden old school bearing wrap from China. So there we go. Sort of the two ends of Chinese manufacture, I suppose, in the spinner world. So there we are, out of the way. So what is the Turbulence? Well, first of all, the most important thing I think to touch on is Adrian's design sensibility. He really proved to the whole spinner world with the Triad that he was kind of a magician, in that this is very pointy, very angular, but yet somehow, excuse me, it's incredibly ergonomic, incredibly comfortable, and great fun to use. So when this guy arrived, the Turbulence, I was caught off guard in so much as the fact that while I think that the Triad is incredibly pretty, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is, to my eyes, quite as pretty as the Triad is. But it does bear some of the hallmarks of Adrian's design aesthetic. He has these kind of strong ridges and chamfers, well, they're angles really, aren't they, across, and then you have these little cutouts here, which is something new. You have a nice little detailed piece here around the button where it kind of dips away at a different angle. And then on top of that, it's also polished. So when I pulled it out of the case and looked at it, I just instantly thought, wow, this is really, really well made. Now the Triad is exceptionally well made as well, and obviously this shows that when Adrian is trying to source the factories that he uses in China to produce these, he is taking care, and I know that firsthand because he really, you know, he got a number of prototypes of the first Triad, and he didn't go with the first factories, I don't think, that he spoke to, or at least not in their original form. He spent time getting the different factories to refine his piece to the point where he was happy, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's exactly what he did here, because this is flawlessly finished. As you can see, it's a quad spinner. You won't see many of those in my collection. I don't particularly choose them, I don't pick them out. Obviously, if a maker sends me one to review, I will absolutely review it, but it's not something that I generally go towards, and that might be partly why I wasn't as excited by this piece as I was by the original Triad. But the Turbulence really took me by surprise. So as you can see, like I said, it's all beautifully polished. It's flawlessly polished, actually. There's not a mark on here. It's so nicely done, and all of the edges as a result are supremely smooth. There isn't a harsh point on here. Even these areas here where the actual arms themselves come out to a point, as you can see, everything's very straight, everything's very angular, apart from this little curve in here and the little curve at the tip and these ones. Everything feels quite... He has this incredible way of making something which retains the more angular design, but yet draws in the ability to just soften all those angles to a point where it's ergonomic, but without losing the aesthetic in the process, and that's something that I just commend him for. So on top of that, you have the buttons here. These are stepped inwards. As you can see, they bear something of a family resemblance to the round version of the triad button. They're concentric circles stepped into the centre, but they're nowhere near as extreme in how far they dip as the triad buttons are, and as you can probably hopefully tell, they are smaller in diameter as well. On top of that, they also have a little chamfer around the edge, which is really nice and makes them stand really well. As you can see, on top of that, you also have the little dam designs, there you go, logo etched into the surface there, really nice. So if we unscrew the button just to show you what we've got going on here, as you would expect for a Chinese spinner, and certainly one of this quality, on the inside of all this stainless steel you have another piece of, well, it's actually milled in, but you have another little bearing cage construction here. This at the moment is running, there's two different bearings that come with this, or did with the one that I received. I'm not sure what the situation is on the website currently, but have a look on that and make sure you know. This one's running the hybrid version of the R188 that it came with, and there's a reason for that which I'll come to, but regardless, let's move on. As you can see, the buttons, simple screw setup like you would hope and expect. You know, let's do away with magnets, guys, they're not that great. And in use, oh, this is just fantastic. Now, the stainless steel bearing that it came with was quieter, no question about that, although it's by no means noisy with the hybrid, and that's well worth mentioning. There's a lot of material around there, it's within a cage, it's not loud. But there was just something about there's a certain dampened quality that's hard to describe until you've tried it, about using a sealed full stainless, probably with a little bit of lubrication in it. They're lovely, they're super smooth, I love them in so many spinners. They work beautifully well, and I'm a big fan. But on this one, there was something about the sort of free-swinging, frictionless quality that you get from, I suppose that's it, there's more of a sense of friction, although it's a very smooth type of friction with the full stainless than there is with the hybrids, and on this spinner it just felt right. Now, this is 4 arms, it catches and releases perfectly. If you're a kind of mindless fidget kind of person, you just want to be able to catch it and release it constantly, it's great. Obviously this is asymmetrical, so as you flip it over you get a slightly different sensation. You hook in to this section here more, which gives you a more powerful forward launch, but maybe slightly less comfortable reverse, but it's not uncomfortable. And that's another real trick of this, is that it's asymmetrical, but yet it works in both forms on each side. So you get bored of spinning on one side in exactly the same way, you flip it over, it feels slightly different. It's absolutely, I think the bearing cage has come slightly loose, so forgive me for a second while I tighten that up. Yeah, it had. It's just, it's like alchemy. And on top of that, it's beautifully polished with all of these different angles, and so it looks like liquid metal spinning. It's so pretty, and those cutouts, while they don't create sort of the kind of invisible sort of floating effect that you get off certain zero feud stuff and that kind of thing, what they do is just break that up slightly and give it a bit more interest. That looks fantastic. Honestly, what am I going to tell you about the negatives for this? It's about $50 or something similar to that. It's not much more if it's more. Whatever price it is, it's worth every penny. Much like we said with the original Triad, it competes at a really high level. This feels in every sense like a high-end spinner. There's nothing that says to you that you've got something cheap here at all. Nothing that says to you that it was made in China. Nothing that says to you that it was made by lower quality manufacturing or higher volume or whatever you want to say. This is absolutely perfect. And if you don't have a Triad, or you haven't tried any of Adrian's work, or you're just looking for your next spinner purchase, honestly, if you're currently looking at something for a couple of $100 or whatever, take some of that money, buy one of these, and then, you know, save a bit more and get the other one that you were after as well. But while these are available, and as I record this, they're up on pre-order, I'll put the link in the description below. I don't always do that, and that's not because I don't have, it's just because I don't want to turn this channel into kind of a commercial. Obviously this particular effusive review sounds like one because I can't help it because I like this so much. But because I like this so much, I will definitely put the link in the description below. It's flawless. I don't know what else to say. And I'm saying that to you from the point of view of someone who doesn't even think it's the prettiest spinner in the world. But once you've had it in hand, you fall for this. It's just fantastic. So wonderful work from Adrian. A fantastic next step for damn designs. I really hope that Adrian sticks with the spinner scene as it, you know, goes through its current ebbs and flows and keeps bringing us pieces like this, because really they're superfluous. They're just fantastic. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Sorry for not being able to find anything negative to tell you about this one. It's quite unusual that I don't, but this one I don't have a negative. Sorry. Catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.